Welcome back to a timey-wimey pod where we watch every episode of Doctor Who from 2005 onwards. My name's Rebecca,
I'm Haley.
and today we are discussing Series 4, Episode 4, The Sontaran Stratagem.
Part 1 of the
Yeah.
Sontaran two-parter for this series.
How do we feel about Sontarans? Just briefly.
I personally love the Sontarans, but I think more than anything, I love a specific Sontaran. And we
Yeah.
don't get that specific Sontaran until Moffat. So I'm not going to be talking about Strax today, but I like them. They're fun. I like them kind of like this, where it's camp, it's silly, but they have a mission. But I love when they pop in here and there. It's not a villain that I want to pop up like super often. What are your thoughts and feelings?
No, I completely agree with you. I love Strax. We do actually see him, at least I don't know if it's like actually meant to be Strax, but it is like basically Strax, whatever. We do kind of see him in this episode. As villains, yeah, we do. Like when he's talking to one of the like commander Sontarans, I forget their name.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't really take them seriously as villains.
No.
Honestly, I like them better when it's just like Strax and they're played more for comedy, but yeah, they're fun here. I think kind of this warrior centered race, I do think that is kind of interesting how their whole thing is for the glory of battle and the consequences that come from that. I do find that interesting, but yeah, overall I can't really take them seriously as villains, but I do like them. Are you ready for some fantastic facts?
Yes, I am.
All right, so this episode aired April 26, 2008. It was written by Helen Rayner, who we last saw in Series 3, who did the Dalek two-parter. What do you think of this two-parter compared to her last one?
Oh, it is leagues better.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, way better.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really remember the Poison Sky that much right now because we haven't watched it yet, but I definitely prefer this two-parter overall. And this was directed by Douglas McKinnon, who we won't see again until The Power of 3.
That's actually insane.
Yeah. He also directed, spoilers, The Husbands of River Song.
This man has taste.
Yeah, and some iconic Series 8 episodes, but we'll save it. Originally, the poisonous gas would come from carbon neutralizing chimneys in everyone's homes. Yeah, but they changed it to. I know, but they changed it to a navigation system to make it feel more like an everyday threat.
Honestly, I'm glad they did that because it's a lot more iconic this way with Atmos and the cars.
Yeah, I agree. And the chimneys just feel not very realistic.
It's giving the Santa Claus.
Yeah. This was the Sontarans' first appearance in 23 years since the two Doctors in 1985.
I always forget this is their first return in New Who.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, I kind of didn't think about that, but yeah, it is. So originally, Howard Atfield was going to be in this episode. Helen Rayner drew upon her own parents' relationship when depicting Jeff Noble and Sylvia. However, that obviously changed as Atfield's health was declining, and now we have Wolf. But I just thought it was interesting that he was planned to be, because we talked about how he was supposed to be in Partners in Crime, and they filmed all those scenes. But I just thought that was interesting because we talked about how he had filmed scenes for Partners in Crime, but they had to be refilmed with Bernard Cribbins, and so it's interesting to read about how he was supposed to be in these episodes as well. Are you ready to jump into the episode?
Yes, I am ready.
So, what do you think of besides the Sontarans, we have Luke Radigan as a main villain in this story. What do you think of Luke Radigan?
He's annoying. I don't know. What do you think of him?
Yeah, he's an evil little punk kid. I love that scene between him and the doctor when the doctor's like, Oh, it's been a very long time since anyone said no to you, isn't it? And I just think he's like this crazy kid who thinks he's better than everyone else. And I don't know, love kind of an evil genius moment. It made me think that like a toned down version of this character would be really interesting as a companion, like just this
Mm.
kid who is really smart and can kind of keep up with the doctor in some ways, but he's also like kind of an ass. And so the doctor has to show him how to be kind of a better person. I think would be really interesting.
There's also a little bit, well, I don't know if it's quite a parallel, but just a little bit of comparison you can put between the Doctor and Radigan, because the Doctor
Mhm.
very much is told no repeatedly by Donna and other companions in the past, or like he's challenged and questioned. And while a lot of people throughout the show do like love him and they're like, Doctor, you're the best, you're the greatest, they also hold him accountable, where
Mhm.
Radigan doesn't really have any of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, besides Radigan, we have the return of Martha Jones.
Yes. Okay. I have some thoughts about this.
Ooh, do tell.
I love seeing Martha. I love her interactions with Donna. We'll get more into that. However, I always am just a little disappointed with how they use her character and just Freema in general in this two-parter. It just feels like I hate that she's like a clone, for most of this two-parter. That always bugs me. And she does have some interesting moments here, talking with the doctor, talking with Donna, and then in the next part, talking with her. But I don't know. I always want this to be more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see what you mean. I think the year that never was really did cause a lot of damage to kind of everything,
Mhm.
every perspective of hers that she had, and her family was imprisoned and beaten and tortured. And she really saw the Doctor for what he was. She had, those rose colored lenses for a while, and then that kind of faded away, and she just realized how dark everything can be. And I think her assuming this sort of role within UNIT makes sense for her character, because she even tells the Doctor,
Definitely.
like, it's easy for you, you can like pop off whenever you want, but like we're stuck here, like we're keeping everything safe. And she's wanting to work on things from the inside to make things better overall, which is a very Martha Jones thing to do. But I don't completely disagree with you, because I do think I don't know what, but maybe something slightly different. Like she's still working within UNIT, but I don't know, she's more of a doctor and less of like an officer.
No, I don't have a problem with her role. Like it to me it completely makes sense that she would become more of this unit soldier, especially because of everything that happens in Last of the Time Lords. Like when Donna says, "Oh, you her into a soldier." Like that makes complete sense to me. I guess I just wish she was better utilized in this two-parter and was given more to
Oh,
do
okay.
and didn't have wasn't a clone like half the time.
Gotcha. Okay. I know. Okay. I see what you're saying now.
Yeah. But no, to me it makes perfect sense that she would be kind of a soldier. I think it
Mm-hmm.
really makes a lot of sense for her trajectory as a character. She went through a lot. She was a soldier that whole year. That never happened, even though for her it absolutely happened. For her family, it absolutely happened. So I think this development really makes a lot of sense. And it's kind of sad, but it makes sense for her and kind of just shows this is what happens to the companions after they travel with the doctor. Like Jack kind of does his own thing with Torchwood. Like you could argue that's him becoming his own kind of soldier in a way. And we see it a lot with Rose too later on in the series. So it just makes a lot of sense. And it's a theme that kind of comes back in Journey's End. This is what the doctor does to people.
Absolutely. A great moment in this episode, though, that has some levity to it, is when Ten is teaching Donna how to fly the TARDIS, which,
Oh
correct me
my
if I'm
gosh,
wrong,
I
this is
love
like the
that.
first in New Who, at least.
No, I think so. absolutely loved that. I forgot about that little moment and it made me so happy. They really are best friends. They really are family. Like, oh, it made me so happy. And I love the reunion between Martha and the doctor in that little alleyway when they just kind of
Mm-hmm.
see each other and slowly walk towards each other and then they hug. And I love when Donna steps out and the doctor's like, "No fighting. I can't bear the fighting, please." Like, so conceited. And Donna's just like, "You wish." And immediately they just start roasting him, chatting,
Mm-hmm.
laughing away. We learn that Martha is engaged to Tom Milligan from Last of the Time
Yeah.
Lords. And we will be on high alert, trying to figure out what went down with this relationship because I have
Yeah.
questions.
So many questions. We're not going to get into it here, but we
Yeah.
will in the future later on in the series. But yeah, I love Donna and Martha and their little dynamic. And
Hmm.
they're an underrated duo for sure
They
that we don't get a ton
are.
of, but they're
Yeah,
so fun together.
they are really fun. I absolutely love the scene between Donna and Martha when Martha asks if her family knows what she's doing. And she kind of tells Donna really honestly what happened to her own family. And she has that great speech where she's like, the doctor, he's wonderful, but stand too close and get burned. And I think I just really love that moment between the two of them. And you see how much everything really impacted Martha and especially her family. I don't know, to see that moment with her and Donna is really great. What do you think about that scene?
I love that girly chat where Martha is really talking to Donna because she wishes she did things differently in regards to her family. And so I love that encouragement that she gives Donna to not just like leave her family behind, and how that pushes Donna to go for a visit and visit Wilf and her mom. And
Hmm.
I love that. And I love that she goes to visit them, and I love even more the back and forth between Donna and Ten, where Ten thinks that Donna is leaving, that she's done, she's had her travels, and she's packing her bags. And then he realizes that, oh, she's just popping home for a visit. And she
Yeah.
just goes, "You big space Dumbo." And I just love it so much.
I love how she just lets him go on and on and on and on, talking about
Yes.
all the places he was going to take her, how she
Mm-hmm.
saved him. She just lets him go until he realizes, like, oh, wait.
Yeah,
Yeah, great.
it's great.
Um, Going back to the scene with Martha, I almost wonder if Martha feels that if she let her own family know a little bit more what was going on, then her family, specifically Francine, wouldn't have been swayed by the whole
Mm.
Harold Saxon people if they knew like what Martha was actually doing and who the doctor actually was.
Brief sidebar, flashing back to that random man and the Lazarus experiment. Do you think if Martha told, but like that was so soon. Like Martha had just gone on her first travels with the doctor. So like, I don't know. Would you have gotten to her mom in time?
I don't know, maybe not, but I think that's kind of what maybe that's what drives her conversation with Donna's her
Yeah.
own wondering if she just kind of told them what was going on, if it would have changed anything.
Oh, I completely agree.
What do I think about this version of Unit? Because this is a very different version of Unit from what we see later on. I feel like one unit just really isn't utilized much in this first RTD era of the show.
Mm-hmm.
We really don't get a whole lot of unit until the second half of Moffat's era, starting in ironically Power of Three when we finally see
Yeah.
Douglas McKinnon again. And that is they even say it in the episode, like a more science forward kind of unit, while this feels very militarized and military focused. So, what do you think about this unit and how do you like it compared to the future versions led by Kate that we see later on?
I think the two versions of Unit are definitely similar. have commonalities for sure. Their purpose is the same, like protect Earth, defend Earth when the Doctor isn't there. And I don't know how I completely feel about it, but they're really intense.
They are really intense. I love when Donna calls them out for like rounding up all the factory workers and pointing guns at them.
Yeah. And I think in both versions of UNIT, both now and in the future, there's criticisms. I think
Yeah.
UNIT is not an organization that like is exempt from any of that, but I prefer the Kate led version.
Me too. I love Kate Stewart. I don't care what y'all say. I love her. And I think you really kind of are missing the presence of a strong unit figurehead in this episode.
Yeah,
The Colonel just really, like, he's just not the strong figurehead that we need. Like, he's not the Brigadier that we know and love from Classic Who, and he's not Kate that we know and love from later on in the show. And I think this version that we see in this two-parter is really missing that kind of strong leader type character because the Colonel just isn't really cutting it.
100%. But do you know who would cut it? Not that I want her to be the commander of UNIT because I do not at all. But
Hmm.
Donna, she is able to make their colonel salute her. And that's
Yes.
iconic, Your Honor.
It's so iconic. And I love her little office diva moment where she finds
Yes.
the HR files. It's so good.
It's so good because she clocks that out of these hundreds of employees, not one of them took a sick day, which is like insane that no one noticed that.
Yeah, that is insane. And I love when they play in to Donna's strengths like this and how she's the
Mm-hmm.
fastest typer in Chiswick and just she this is what she does. She's worked in offices most of her adult life, so she knows it like the back of her hand, just like she says. And so I just love when they play into those kind of strings. It's like back with Rose, they would play into her. She's very domestic. She understands family life, and Ten even says it in the Idiot's Lantern. What does he say? Oh, the domestic approach. That's what Rose is good at, and this is what Donna's good at.
There's a scene that is so good, in my opinion, and it kind of expands on what we were talking about at the beginning in regards to Martha and Ten having a discussion.
Hmm.
And Ten's whole thing this episode is like being annoyed with Colonel Mace and not liking him because Colonel Mace
Yeah.
has a gun. And Martha's like, he's a good man though. Anton is like, well, people with guns are usually the enemy in my books. You seem quite at home. To which Martha responds that if anyone got used to fighting, it's you. And you got me the job. But it's all right for you. You can just come and go, but some of us have to stay behind. So I've got to work on the inside. And by staying inside on the inside, maybe I can make them better. And I feel that really gives insight into Martha's mind and just
Hmm.
how much her trajectory has changed because of her travels with the doctor. She started off in the show wanting to be a regular doctor, and now she is at UNIT having this role. She's, a soldier, and she's trying to help the universe and the world. And it just really shows, like you said too, that this is what it's like for the people left behind on Earth.
Hmm.
They have to stay and they have to clean up the messes and they have to fight the battles that the doctor isn't there for. And it gives a really interesting, I don't know, thought idea for me. It's just like how much happens on Earth that the doctor just never is privy to.
Yeah, no, I always do. I think about that too. All the things that happen on Earth when the doctor's not there. And you definitely see some of that in Torchwood and the Sarah Jane adventures. And I just love that line of Martha saying, she has to try to make it better from the inside. It's like what Jack said about Torchwood. He tried to rebuild it to honor the doctor and make it something different. And it's just, yeah, it always fascinates me to see what the companions end up doing back on Earth after they're done traveling with the doctor. One moment from the doctor that really just irks me is when Martha's talking about, because of him, she got the job. And the doctor's like, oh, so it's my fault then. Yeah, it kind of is. Like, you are the person that turned her into this, especially because you had her do that whole year thing. You had her go on that whole mission, tell that whole story, make up the whole thing about the gun. So yeah, it is kind of your fault. Like what did you think was going to happen?
No, that is so true.
And a scene that always really just kind of chokes me up is when Donna ends up back on her street and she's walking down the street. She sees a neighbor and she's really thinking about everything she's experienced in the last couple of episodes with Pompeii and the Ood and the waving at Fat. And then she sees Wilf and just, oh, once again, Catherine Tate, where's your Emmy? Because she plays the scene so well. Just how she immediately breaks when she sees him and how happy Wolf looks, and they just run towards each other. It really gets me.
It gets me every time. I love their relationship so much. I've said it before, I will say it again. Wilf is one of the greatest additions in all of Doctor Who. I kind of forgot that she had those like flashbacks in this
Me
scene.
too.
But I feel like this is very much like after talking with Martha, having her little girly chat, having experienced all of these things, and literally last episode, like just the cruelty of everything happening to the Ood. I think this is very much her moment that every companion has where they really contemplate if they want to keep going with the Doctor. And of course, the answer is almost always yes. But I don't know. I feel like it was bound to happen.
Yeah, I think there's also something to be said about the fact that she's a lot older than your typical, not a lot older, I don't want to say that, but she's older than your typical companion. She's more of an adult. She's lived longer. She's experienced more of life. And so, of course, she's going to really think about everything that she's experienced so far on a deeper level and think about how it impacts her and her family. You know, it's not just this crazy adventure all the time. She's seen already the dark sides of traveling with the Doctor.
For sure. And I love how she decides to update Wilf and tell him about the Doctor. And she's like, he's dazzling, but don't you dare ever tell him I said that.
I love that.
Classic Donna. I love it. And I always find it so interesting, but it makes complete sense knowing who Sylvia is, that Wilf tells Donna not to mention anything to her. Honestly, he was right for that, because can you imagine her commentary?
Oh, yeah. No, you don't need it. I love how when she comes in, she just immediately starts going in on Donna and makes her cut coupons.
Yeah, which is so funny.
And then her reaction to seeing the Doctor later, and she's like, it's the man from the wedding, and like, he ruined everything, as if, did he really? I mean, I guess, yeah, okay. Now I'm just thinking about the runaway bride, and I was like, nothing really happened. Like, she disappeared, and then I remembered like their whole reception, like there were all those bombings or whatever. Oh, the Christmas trees blew up. That's what happened.
He also low-key killed Lance, even though Lance deserved it.
Yeah.
I know Donna says, no, he didn't. I'm here to say that yes, he did. Lance was awful, but I digress. Yeah, no, he brings death and destruction everywhere he goes. So Sylvia was right in that one aspect that he always means trouble. But the only thing she's been right about, at least in RTD1, I find the bit so funny of when Wilf sees the Doctor. He's like, Doctor? Wait, I know you. And Tin is like, I know you. And then when Sylvia says what she says about recognizing him, it's just so funny to me that Tin already met all of Donna's family, basically.
I know, it's so funny. And Wolf is like, how do you know him? Sylvia's like, he was at the wedding. Like, it's just
when you
so,
have the Spanish flu.
I know. Yeah, that, and then we learn why Wolf wasn't at the wedding. He had the Spanish flu, apparently.
Yeah.
And their family, Your Honor, their family.
Yeah.
But no, I love that whole scene of them out by the car. I think it's so funny.
Flashing back to everything happening in the Atmos building, I feel like Martha would have noticed sooner that all of these people were hypnotized.
The fact that he just says, I'm here to work, and that's all he said. Like, the Martha I know would have I don't know. She just, like, she does know something's wrong, but she
But she
just,
would like actually know what it was.
yeah, she would have experienced, she just would have handled that whole thing differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And we can't even blame her clone for that one because
Yeah.
that was before she was cloned.
Yeah. And she is like trying to go find the colonel, and then she's, taken down to the basement and
Yeah.
turned into a clone. Her clone happens, whatever. The clone happens. But yeah, that scene always does bug me because it's just not how she would have acted or reacted.
No.
And yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Her screams, though, as the camera
Mm,
pans down the hallway, haunting.
yeah.
Like, has this queen
Martha,
not suffered enough?
she can't catch a break. Let my girl live. She can never catch a break for a single second. She has to constantly suffer, apparently.
Yeah. Poor Martha. All she wants to do is get married to Tom Milligan.
I know. I hope that Martha, wherever she is right now, is just happy and not going through it. And you know what? I hope she kind of returned back to pure medicine in a way. I think she's still kind of,
Yeah.
doing something with aliens somewhere, but I hope
Oh,
she's,
definitely.
been able to become more of a doctor again.
I agree. Martha Queen, hope you're doing well. There's literally any opportunity for you to come on the show at
Mhm.
any point. Please,
Please come
someone write her
home.
in.
Come home, Martha Jones. We need you.
We really need you.
What do you think about Russ, the kind of unit soldier that's assigned to the doctor, and they have to go to the Ratigan Academy together?
I was literally just about to ask you the same thing. I love him. I love him, Your Honor. I can't say why, but
No, he's great. I love when Ten gets all offended when Luke calls him a grunt, and he's like, "Don't call Russ a grunt. We like
Mhm.
Russ." It's so sweet, and I love them like
Yes.
laughing in the jeep together. Like,
Mhm.
what a cute little. They're so fun. I love it. What a great duo.
Yeah, they're a great duo. Can we talk about the scene where it's Ten, Ross, Radigan in that little room, and Ten is like trying to out genius the
Mm.
prodigy, and like that is such a doctor thing to do. Like he literally cannot help himself. Like
Oh
he can't
yeah.
keep himself from being and acting clever. I find it so funny when the Sontaran like comes through the portal or whatever it is, teleport. I can't remember the name of it. And then he like hits a ball with a racket and the Sontaran is out, and it's so funny to me.
It is really funny. We also get the iconic intruder window scene. So great.
Yes. Okay. Actually, that's not the first time that joke has been said in the show.
Hmm.
Do you remember who said it first?
The Ninth Doctor in The Doctor Dances, The Runaway Bride, one of those?
No,
No, not the Runaway Bride.
it wasn't the doctor. It was Henry Van Satin and Dalek.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I forgot. Okay, I knew
Yeah,
it was something with the Ninth Doctor, but
you were close. You were. You were
yeah.
close.
Yeah, you're right. So crazy.
I know. Ten says
Yeah.
it better.
Yeah, it's a great joke. I feel like that GIF was like everywhere back in the day. I love how the Sontarans are so upset that they were left out of the Time War. Like they're so offended.
That is my favorite thing. Like, that is their main beef with the Doctor now. Like, I don't know what happened between them in Classic Who, but from here on out, the beef between the Doctor and the Sontarans is that they were not included in the Time War.
Yeah, and I just think it's so funny that both the Time Lords and the Daleks were like, "No, we do not want the Sontarans here. Like, we're good. We're in this crazy war that's gonna kill all of us, but we don't need the Sontarans."
It is so funny. And it really goes back to like, this is the type of thing that makes the Sontarans work. It's just the
Hmm.
campiness and the comedy of it.
Yeah, and their whole life is just being in battle and being in war, and that's all they want, which is kind of crazy.
It is crazy when you think about it, actually. What do you
Hmm.
think of like their design? Because I mean, I do kind of agree. They do low key look like potatoes.
Yeah, I really love when Russ says they look like baked potatoes. That's
Mhm.
hilarious.
That's
Yeah, I
so
think the
funny.
design is definitely not my favorite. It's definitely part of why I can't take them seriously. I weirdly really like how they look in the Chibnall era. We'll get to it, but I kind of like that design a lot more than
I don't
this.
disagree.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to the journalist at the beginning of this
Yeah.
episode.
How many journalists are going to suffer this series? First, we had poor Peggy, whatever her name was, and then we had this girl, poor
Yeah. Don't
girl.
forget the reporter who was spared in Boomtown.
Yeah. Thank goodness. I thank goodness she was spared because no one else
Yeah.
was.
No. So true. So true. It's low key crazy. Something else that is so crazy is that the doctor and Ross don't really think too much until it's almost too late that they're in a car with Atmos in it after fleeing the Radigan Academy. And I know they didn't really have any other option to like flee besides running away, but why didn't you guys think that it would be used against you?
Well, they do have that conversation driving to the academy, and Russ is like, "Oh yeah, it's so annoying, but we can't. They're like in every government issued vehicle, and we can't take them out until we prove something's wrong."
Oh, wait, you're right. My bad.
No, I do think about that too. Watching this episode and the scene with the journalist, I'm like, you're investigating them, but you have Atmos in your car.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe you could have just like borrowed a different car for a while,
Yeah. Can we
taken it
also
out.
Yeah, can we also talk about how the only way the doctor got the car to stop from killing them was commanding it to not go into the water? I'm like,
Yeah, I always find that a little silly.
yeah.
And then and somehow that also unlocks the car and they're able to jump out. That part always just kind of bugs me.
Yeah.
I just find it a little like not the best writing move, but sometimes you just need an easy fix for a situation, especially like it's not supposed to take up a whole lot of time, but still it always kind of I'm just like, "Oh, okay. That's the solution here."
No, for sure. Yeah, I have the same problem. There's a brief scene earlier in the episode between Ten and Colonel Mace where Ten is still going on about how the Colonel has a gun and how he doesn't like that. But then the Colonel points out that Ten
Mhm.
does have a weapon. He just chooses not to use it, like he chooses to hide it, which is the TARDIS. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess it is kind of interesting, but I also like I guess the TARDIS can be used as a weapon, but also to me it's not a weapon, but I mean
Yeah.
again it totally can be. And that's why the doctor's so protective of it and doesn't bring it into battle because he doesn't want it to fall into the wrong kind of hands.
It's definitely not this same caliber, oh my gosh, no
Mhm.
pun intended, as the Colonel's gun.
Yeah. I love the whole like saluting bit and how the
Yeah,
doctor like no saluting. It's really funny.
it is, because this is something he's consistent with, like,
Mhm.
throughout the show. So I I love that. Okay, I need to talk about the ending of this first part
Mm.
because I'm sorry. Okay, all of the gas and all of the cars and all of the world is going off. Wilf is stuck in the car, in a locked car. Donna and Tin, for a moment, are both trying to help get Wilf out. Then it's just Donna trying to get him out. And Tin just starts slowly walking into the street looking at the gas while Donna yells, Doctor. What was that? Like, why did he do that?
Yeah, he's trying to look around, figure things out, try to find some kind of solution. But I love that shot of him on the street with the coat billowing in the wind and like all the gas and smog. I think that's a great shot. But yeah, I am always on edge watching it because I'm like, we need to get Wilf out of that car. We need
Yeah,
to save Wilf. Like, this is serious.
it is. It is serious. And It's the way 10 calls Martha and tells her
I
to order everyone to stand
know.
down, but it's too late because it's the clone Martha
Mhm.
who obviously wants all of the unit soldiers to be killed.
Yeah, and then the rest of unit doesn't know that they're dealing with the Sontarans.
Yeah. I wonder if after this situation they had some sort of clause or training or something about what happens if a unit employee becomes a clone.
Oh, that would be interesting. Because we know there's like telepathic training or
Yeah.
psychic training. So yeah, that would be kind of interesting. But overall, a pretty good cliffhanger to end the episode on.
Yeah. I really like this episode. Again, it's been a minute since I've watched The Poison Sky.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to say overall my thoughts on both of these episodes, but for this episode, it's a great one. I feel like the dialogue is really good, even though there's definitely some moments where I'm like, not my favorite. Overall, this is a really great episode, and I'm excited to talk about the remainder of it.
Me too. And I think Helen Rayner really nailed all the dynamics between the characters in this episode. Like she really nailed
Yeah.
what Martha would be like after everything she'd gone through and her relationship with Donna, Donna with her family, and Martha and Donna with the doctor. I think all that was just written really well and made a lot of sense for all their characters. Who's the star of the show this episode?
I'm going to say the star of the show is Ross because I appreciate him. He's a fun
Yeah.
side character.
Yeah, he's fun. Love Russ. I'm gonna give it to Wilf because I love Wilf, and it's so great to see
Mhm.
him. And that scene of him and Donna reuniting is just my favorite. What is the heart of this episode?
Heart of this episode is if someone you like is at risk at becoming a clone, have some sort of, I don't know, process that you can verify if they are who they say they are. Like a
I
special
agree.
question that only they would know.
Yeah. I also think, if it's something is too good to be true, like a carbon neutralizing car navigation system, it probably is too good to be true, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Do we have any reviews from the past?
Yes, we do. And they are both from IMDb. So this first review is from the user sleepin_dragon, and they wrote on August 23rd, 2015, that someone's feeling guilty about getting rid of Freema, so they've brought her back. While I did really like Martha, in comparison to Donna, she's just so bland. She's still looking longingly at the doctor, but toughened up a bit. Oh, Donna, please come back. I digress. Had there been no Donna, this would have been a total disaster. Her reaction to seeing Wolf was just glorious. I'm hooked on her and her family. Wolf is class, obviously, but I really like Sylvia too. The domestic scene was fun.
Yeah, disagree about what they said about Martha. I She's
Yeah.
definitely not like longingly looking at the doctor in this episode. Like she's
No.
very much with Tom and appreciating Tom and how strong he is. But yeah, love all the Donna stuff and her family and all of that.
This last review I have was written on August 25th, 2020, and it's by the user What Mars, and they said that I love this episode so much. It had a perfect return of the Sontarans, very entertaining. I quite like the look of the Sontarans, and Donna made a genius point about the cars actually releasing poisonous gas to suffocate Earth's atmosphere and the whole entire human race. Great cliffhanger, and we get to see Wilfred as a likable character like he always says. Them aliens.
Yeah, I meant to mention that. I love how Wolf is just justified in this episode and all
Yeah.
his theories about all the aliens he learns are finally true.
Yes, I love that so much. I love when he just says, them aliens. Doctor, you're one of them aliens. It's so good. It's
I
great.
love when he shakes the doctor's hand and he's like, "Oh, an alien hand."
They really struck gold with Bernard Cribbins.
Oh, they so did. Well, we will see you guys next week when we wrap up this two-parter with the Poison Sky, and then after that, we'll be starting season 2 with the Robot Revolution. That's what it's called, right? For
Yeah.
Shuri Gatwa's second season as the Doctor.
It is going to be fantastic. I can't wait.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet Belinda and see what this season has in store.
But until then, feel free to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at timey-wimey-pod.
And email us anything and everything to timey-wimey-pod@gmail.com. Feel free to leave a review on whatever platform you're listening on.
And with all that said, we will talk to you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Ta-ra.